is called the son of David. He's from the house and lineage of David. But I'm going to jump to verse 31 in Luke 1. Verse 31. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus, Yahushua. And he shall be great. Now, and behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus, Yahushua. And he shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. He's going to be given the throne of his father David, because he comes back to David through his father's genealogy. There's no getting around that. Like Alazar said, why would Matthew 1 give a whole account of Joseph if he has nothing to do with Christ's birth?
Okay, so I mean, I just don't understand when they ask the question back. It's like, dude, I don't understand. I just don't understand for the life of me. They don't understand. Like, they're basically conceding. Why would you even enter? Look, if you truly believe Joseph is the biological father of Christ, then why would you even entertain that the genealogy is saying something other than pointing to Joseph as a father? The only reason why they keep saying, why would this be here? Because they understand it's in there for that very reason. Okay? They understand that the generation of Jesus is in Matthew 1, and it does not list Joseph as a father. So when they keep saying, why this, why that, they really want to know. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, just give me a minute. I want somebody to call me. Hold on a second. All right, and we're back. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so he's reading Luke 131. Okay, and again, okay, I know where I left off at. They keep asking the question, if Joseph is not the father, why is he in the lineage? Which is a retarded question. That's a high school dropout question. First of all, if you truly believe Joseph is the father, the biological father, why would you even ask that dumbass rhetorical question? Like that shouldn't even be a thought in your mind. Like, because uh, our side has questions. We be in our mind. We'd be like, hold up, how can like? But this is in our mind. We don't give it to these fools. We'd be like, how can Joseph? How can two mortal beings give birth to the Messiah? How's that possible when the Messiah existed before the two human beings? So the Messiah was here, and he created. The Bible says he created everything. So how can two mortal human beings come back and return it, create him? But we don't ask that question because it's a question that don't need to be asked because we don't believe two mortal human beings gave birth to him. So if they believe Joseph is the biological father, why do they keep asking this dumbass question?
Him the throne of his father David. He's going to be given the throne of his father David because he comes back to David through his father's genealogy. There's no getting around that. Like Alazar said, why would Matthew 1 give a whole account of Joseph?
You see, they asked a question that should not be asked if you believe that's not the case at all. Why do you even ask the question? Okay, you should the question shouldn't even be asked.
If he has nothing to do with Christ's birth? What would the point? It just be just wasting ink.
No, it's wasted ink when you don't want to hear how the other side actually answered that. So they keep asking the question to themselves. They never ask the other side, why is Joseph there if he's not the biological father of Jesus? They will not ask the question to us because they really don't want the answer. They want the question to be, I guess, perpetual, just in the air forever, rhetorical forever. Because they do. Why don't you ask us? Us are the people who say the virgin birth is true. Why don't you ask us why is Joseph listed in Matthew's 1 if he's not the biological father of Jesus? Just ask us. It's a simple answer, I believe. But they'll rather ask it rhetorically to each other, not to their op. They won't even talk to us. Like they'll talk to us privately. You know, I got private conversations with these guys, but they won't talk to you public. Not on purpose.
But I'm gonna read it one more time. He shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Highest, and the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. I don't know how you get around that. Luke 2:4. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was the house and lineage of David. I gotta read this to you, bro.
Wait, and here's another problem. Here's another problem. Go to that scripture you just went, because something else just hit me about this. This is really bad for those that don't believe in it.
It's even worse too.
Go ahead.
Watch this. Luke 2:4. I'll read the one I just read though. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem.
Which is called what?
Bethlehem.
Which is called Bethlehem. Keep reading. Keep reading.
Yeah, because he was the house and lineage of David.
Hold on, no, wait. So he's from Bethlehem, right? Is Mary from Bethlehem?
No.
Because if Mary isn't from Bethlehem, then she's not of this lineage.
Okay, well, for one, there's more clues that she's from Bethlehem than they're not. And then what? There's more clues that she's from David than there is not.
So the only way, and the prophecies, according to Micah 5, say that the Messiah got to come out of Bethlehem.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute, which he did. What the hell are we doing here? So like these hypothetical arguments are goofy. Like what are we talking about? The hell? The prophecy said that, and then it now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, Judea. But he was.
Yeah, that's not good for them.
This is really bad, guys.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Chapter 1, verse
Wait, run that back, Turbo.
Micah 5 say that the Messiah got to come out of Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Okay. And he did. Okay. He did. Now what?
Yeah, that's not good for them.
This is really bad, guys. Go ahead.
Luke chapter.
Let me turn this down a little bit. It's too loud. Yeah. What are we missing here? He did. He did come from Bethlehem. It said it. I just showed you.
Verse 27, I'm going to jump to 32. So a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David. There's 4 times, literally, we just read. Because when I was out the room, I read 3 of them. Where it explicitly says that Joseph is of the house and lineage of David. We don't have to interpolate or...
Okay, right. So you're doing good. You're gathering the clues, but you're not good at interpreting them. So one clue, so you read some clues, some evidence that says Joseph is from the lineage of David. And then you read some clues that Mary is the mother of Jesus. And then you read some clues that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, Judea. And then you read some clues that Joseph is not the father of Jesus. So you start matching things up, it leaves just Mary in the spotlight of the person who was from the seed of David, who's from David that gave birth to Jesus. The spotlight is all on Mary. Okay, so now you got to ask yourself, why is it saying Joseph? Why does it keep saying Joseph is the lineage of David? Why I keep saying that? And so the better question is, why does the Bible keep emphasizing that Joseph is the lineage of David if he has nothing to do with being Jesus' biological father? That would be a better question. But as you see later on, as you see earlier tonight, they ask a question, and any answer we give, they cut us off immediately and say, no good. It's like, wait a minute. Then why even ask the question if there's no answer? Because you see, from our perspective, we don't really ask any questions. Well, we ask a question just to get the answer for them to debunk it, to show how that's bad. So when you ask the question to us and we answer, you got to debunk the answer, show how it's impossible. And you guys can't.
Just come to some rough conclusion. It's clear and evident. How is he from the tribe of Judah?
English, yeah. So I felt like I had more to. I feel like I want to do this right now, but I just could re-air this tomorrow, right? Where I won't have to take time my busy day. I could just play this tomorrow as it is. You dig? And it's basically pre-recorded. That's what I'm gonna do tonight.
How is he the lion from the tribe of Judah if he's not from the tribe of Judah? Because the woman doesn't determine what tribe you're from.
You just made that up, and they keep saying that, but they can't read that. Okay, it's important. So Mimi says she's working on the English paper. Okay, but I can't really read. They got this dumb heart in the way. I don't know what that's about. So let me do this. Okay, so now I can read it. English literature paper. Okay, good. So that means that they need an English literacy paper. Okay, so listen. In order to make an absolute statement like this, in order for them to say that the men only determines the tribe, they should actually read that. They shouldn't go somewhere where it's instructing men to determine a tribe. They should read literally only men determine a tribe. Like, for example, I can read you that God can't sin because he's not a man. In other words, only men, mankind, can sin. That means an angel can't sin, Holy Spirit can't sin, and God can't sin. Sin only applies to mankind. I can read that. They can't read that when it says only the man identifies the tribe of the child. They just make that shit up and make it absolute. And then when you read women determining the tribe, they got all type of excuses for that.
Or another quick point too. He'll try to say in the video when he ran up on the elders of Great Millstone, and Tahar cut him, Elder Apostle Tahar cut him with I think it was Luke chapter 2, when it says that Joseph was in the house of David. He said that's actually in reference to Mary. So I'm gonna just read it.
Yeah, get that.
Luke 2:4. And Joseph went up from Galilee out of the city of.
Okay, this is a good one.
No, sorry. Luke 1:27, I believe, is where he went. So a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. He tries to say that to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph. It just stops talking about Joseph of the house of David. He's trying to say.
What verse is that?
Luke 1:27.
What? So let's just read this and use our freshman year English class.
Okay, now we're doing freshman year English. You know what? This is similar to, you know what this is similar to? This is similar. Yo, this is perfect. Yo, Tone was right. These guys use verses that they think work for them, and they actually works for us. I'm going to start reading this first. I'm going to start saying that this house of David applies to Mary. This is similar to how Matthew 1:16 is read. Look at this. And then, yo, this is crazy. Watch this. I used to donate. That's why it probably showed that before the pandemic when I had some real income. All right. Wait, what just happened? I just put in Luke 1 and nothing happened. Okay, come on. I'm not even doing 31, but whatever. Okay. Oh, no. I was supposed to go to Matthew's. Okay, so look at this. This is their logic. So from their logic, they would say Jacob begot Joseph, Joseph the husband of Mary, and they would say this of whom was born Jesus. They would say this of whom skips Mary and it goes to Joseph. That's what they would say. They won't see it, like he said, the basic English. They won't see it as Mary of whom born Jesus. Okay, but then they would get mad when somebody point out of the house of David and the virgin's name was Mary, they would say it's a look, Joseph of the house of David. Look over here. Mary of whom was born Jesus. This is the same language. So how do you reject one and accept the other? If the house of David is of Joseph, then whom was born Jesus is of Mary. Do you see it? How can this be true, that same language, and this be false? Because they'll tell you the comma, wait, right here. They'll say the comma, the comma. Okay, the comma, the comma. So you got Joseph of the house of David, and you got Mary of whom was born Jesus. That's the same language. So if this doesn't point to Mary, then this doesn't point to Joseph. I hope that's easily seen. I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna start going here first on these guys. I'm gonna say when it says Joseph of the house of David, who's of the house of David? Like Joseph. Oh, yeah, because it says the word of is saying Joseph from the house of David, right? Then I'm gonna bring him over here. Like, okay, Mary, from whom was born Jesus, right? Nah. Yo, watch him. But he said it was basic English.
Okay.
He's trying to say
What verse is that?
Luke 1:27.
What? So let's just read this and use our freshman year English class education on this, right?
Well, but you dropped out of high school. So what would you know about that?
Started from the top on 1:27.
Luke 1:27. So a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph.
Whose name was Joseph, comma, read.
Of the house of David.
Semicolon, read.
And the virgin's name was Mary.
So if it says, and the virgin's name was Mary, that means prior to that semicolon, of course, the virgin wasn't being talked about, or it wouldn't say, and the virgin's name was Mary. If of the house of David was a reference to the virgin, it wouldn't say, and the virgin's name was Mary. It would just say, of the house of David, her name was Mary.
Okay, so you hear this? I'm so glad they're doing this.
Prior to that semicolon, if it says, and the semicolon, read, whose name was freshman year English class education on this, right? This and use our.
There we go. I got to clip this. Oh my God, this is gonna come back to bite me badly. So they got this perfect English grammar when it comes to Luke 131. Luke 127. But this perfect English grammar goes out the door when they read Matthew 1:16. It's the same language. That is amazing, yo. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. All right. So we're at 13:33. This is amazing.
Freshman year English class education on this, right? Started from the top on 1:27.
Luke 1:27. So a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph.
Whose name was Joseph, comma, read.
Of the house of David.
Semicolon, read.
And the virgin's name was Mary.
So if it says, and the virgin's name was Mary, that means prior to that semicolon, of course, the virgin wasn't being talked about, or it wouldn't say, and the virgin's name was Mary. If of the house of David was a reference to the virgin, it wouldn't say, and the virgin's name was Mary. It would just say, of the house of David, her name was Mary.
All right, cool. 14:10. All right. This is hilarious because they don't use that same logic for Matthew 1:16. Oh.
Right? But that semicolon and that and indicates what? It's talking about Joe. Then it jumps back to talking about Mary. These are supposed to be educated people,
and
right?
By the way,
use our freshman year English class education on this, right? Started from the top on 1:27.
Luke 1:27. So a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph.
Whose name was Joseph, comma, read.
Of the house of David.
Semicolon, read.
And the virgin's name was Mary.
So if it says, and the virgin's name was Mary, that means prior to that semicolon, of course, the virgin wasn't being talked about, or it wouldn't say, and the virgin's name was Mary. If of the house of David was a reference to the virgin, it wouldn't say, and the virgin's name was Mary. It would just say, of the house of David, her name was. Use our freshman year English class education on this, right? Started from the top on 1 and 27.
Luke 1 and 27. To
Uh-huh.
a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph.
Whose name was Joseph,
The double
right?
standards,
But that
the
semicolon
cherry
and that
picking
and
is
indicates
of
what?
value.
It's talking about Joe, then it jumps back to talking about Mary. These are supposed to be educated people, right? I'm a high school dropout. I say it all the time. I dropped out. How am I able to educate? You see what I'm saying? But this is the level of lying that you got to do for your BS to add up, right? Start back at Luke 2 and 1. Start at the top.
Luke chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed.
Right. So the Caesar decrees all the world should be taxed. Read.
And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria.
Mm-hmm.
And all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city.
His own city, right? Go ahead.
And Joseph also went up from Galilee.
So because Joseph was up in Galilee too. This is where he meets Mary and her family in Galilee, because a lot of poor Israelites lived in Galilee, right? That was like a big old ghetto, right? Go ahead.
Out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem.
Uh-huh.
Because he was the house and lineage of David.
Read.
To be taxed with
So
Mary.
now, if it was Mary's city also, wouldn't it mention that? Into their city where they came from? Don't say nothing like that.
Because it named Joseph first, you do have, okay, you can use the they. See, he wants to say freshman English. Well, in freshman English, you can use a pronoun or you can use proper nouns. See, pronouns replace the proper nouns. Okay, so the Bible wanted you to, it didn't want you to guess there. It wanted you to read Mary and Joseph, right? It didn't want any there, because if it says there, then you will argue who's the part of the there, who's part of that pronoun, right? So this one gave you no doubt. It says Mary and Joseph. That's why I said it like that, I believe.
All about him, right? Keep reading.
To be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child.
Right.
And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered.
While in Bethlehem.
Yeah, he said, read.
The days were accomplished that she should be delivered. Read.
And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
Hold on. These guys be kind of like pointing me to a direction. Like he just gave me Luke 127. That was not on my radar at all. And now they might have pointed me somewhere else. Okay, so the way Christians would read this, or people who believe the virgin birth would read this, they would read this to say Joseph went up from Galilee and he left Nazareth because he went into Judea unto the city of David. He went here, which is called Bethlehem. He went here because he's from the house of David. So he went here to be taxed. So if he's taxed with Mary, then that means that all of this applies to Mary as well. So Mary also was from the city of Judea from the city of David, which is called Bethlehem. Mary also, because they're both getting taxed. So it's telling you that Joseph is originally from this area, so that's why he went there, but he's being taxed with Mary. So Mary is from here as well. This applies to her as well. That's why they both there getting taxed. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. So while they were there, so while they were at Bethlehem, so Mary went back. So Mary went back to Judea, the city of David, not to only be taxed, but to give birth. And we read that in Matthew chapter 2. So she went back to give birth to Jesus so Jesus can be a Judean. Okay. Yeah, so when they be fighting, they be giving me stuff that's not on my radar. This is interesting. And they're in the same country, shepherds abiding. For you unto you is born this day. So they're still in the city of David. So for you is born a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. Okay. And he shall be a sign unto you. He shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. Manger. Let's now go even unto Bethlehem. Okay, so wait a minute. So I guess they're gonna leave the city of David to go to Bethlehem and see this thing, which is okay. Okay, the prophecy was given to them, and they're gonna go see it. Okay, they're gonna confirm it. And they came with haste. Oh, wait a minute. They came with haste. So that's like right away. Oh, they want to go see it, this miracle. So this goes back to Luke 1, this old haste thing. See, these brothers be fighting so hard against the virgin birth that they give me, like the verses that they believe. That's very ironic. The verses that they believe that supports them be supporting me. Okay. All right. Yeah. So let me put this on my note sheet. Let me put this on my note sheet. I promise you, these guys be saying things, and that's why sometimes I don't even watch their videos to like see how foolish they are. I watch the videos to they kind of like help me. They kind of give me the answers I'm looking for, or sometimes help strengthen my answers. They literally help strengthen my arguments by providing me scriptures that they believe that supports their argument. It turn around and support mine. Okay, so let me add this. So I'm gonna add the Luke 127 too. Okay, so let me add this. Wait. Yeah, I guess we do it. Okay, that's cool. All right, let me add this. And then let me go back. Probably be I might stay to 1:30 or be off by 4. I gotta wake up early so I go to the gym. All right. So let me go here. Oh, okay. So this is interesting because that haste part, I didn't really hone in on. Okay, here we go. So I just want these two verses. Well, 3 verses. Yeah, I just want that. Because it says haste. That means she's running to see the miracle, just as the shepherds was running to see the miracle of Jesus. All right. Okay, so let me just document that. I got it here. I got it. All right. Okay, we're so both of them was running home to see a miracle. Yes, I'm gonna stay to about 1:30 or a little earlier, or as soon as he wake up, as soon as he realize I'm not there, I'm out. Okay, now let me grab a. I said I'm gonna get a Tylenol from that fool earlier, gave me a headache. Let me grab my Tylenol now. Got the two Tylenols in. All right, I should be feeling better real soon. Okay, it's PM Tylenol, so hopefully it makes me sleepy also. All right, let's get to work. Okay, so now I want to go to Luke 127. Yeah, this is very interesting that Grla Hebrew pointed out by mistake. This says Joseph of the house of David, and they will say that the of the house of David goes to Joseph. But then they will argue that this doesn't go to Mary, the whom was born Jesus. That is wild. It's the same language, dude. Mary, and when it says of, whatever follows afterwards goes back to Mary. Just like here it says Joseph of, whatever comes after goes back to Joseph. Oh, this is gonna be ball game. Oh, when I'm saying ball game, like we know better, but this is ball game to get through all their lies, but they try to act like the home wasn't going back to Mary. Oh, oh, can't wait to bring this out. Come on, press copy, then copy. Come on. Oh, it's still. Hold on, copy. This is amazing. Copy. Oh, this is amazing. Where is Meech to see this? Where's LJ to see? LJ probably sleep. Meech is up, but LJ is asleep. So when they try to deny the whom thing, because I told you when I talk to these guys, I'd rather not go to Blue Letter. They try to go to Blue Letter to escape. I want to stay right here in King James English translation. I could prove all my points from the English translation, King James, or any really translation. It'd be them to say, "Hey man, let's go on Blue Letter." All right, cool. All right, all right. So I got my notes. Yeah, I think I did too much. Yeah, hold on. Let me. I try to. Oh, hey, let me. I copy too many passages. I'm just going to do 39, where it says with haste, and I'm just going to do for Luke. Just going to do where it says haste. I'm not going to copy other passages. I was trying to just read it to context, but I think they're not going to argue when I say this is dealing with Mary and Elizabeth, Mary and the shepherds of Jesus. They're not going to argue that. So I ain't got to copy all the verses. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's go to the evidence, the testimonies. Let's go.
Salaki, let me go back here. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up here. Luke 2, what verse you at?
Verse 8.
Okay, she should be.
So I just read all this, so I'm not worried about. They're not gonna read that special here. Oh, they're gonna read what I copied. It's funny.
Deliver her firstborn son, wrapped him in swaddling clothes, laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. Right? So what's the inn? What's the inn? Right? Let's just be logical here. The inn. An inn, a lodging place, an eating room, or a dining room, right? So at the lodging place of his father, or his father's house, there was no room. Now, if Joseph, and logically, why is there no room now at Joseph's people house? Let's think about this, right? Go back to verse 1. Read verse 1 again.
And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed.
Right? So skip to verse 3.
And all went to be taxed, everyone to his own city.
So now why wouldn't there be no room for Joe and them at the house? And David got a lot of kids. David had a lot of wives. And his sons, they had plenty of wives. So they're all there, right? Now, if Mary is also from Bethlehem, why couldn't they just go to wherever her people is from? If there ain't no room in his pop house, oh, Mary, my in-laws are down the street, right? No, they're not there. Or it would have said that. It would have been a reference to, or Mary's family was there too. There's no reference to Mary's family except one person, Elizabeth. That's the only person that we ever hear about is related to Mary. Mary also has the name Mary, right? There's only 2 other people named Mary in the Bible. What tribe are they from, coincidentally?
Now, he knows that's a bad argument because I could show you in this lineage right here, in Matthew's lineage, I can show you Levites with the same name as Judites. So he knows that's a bad argument. He knows it because I had him say that, and then when I bring that up, they say, "Yeah, I know." So it's like, so why do you say that? So that name doesn't mean. Didn't Pharaoh's daughter name Moses? So what kind of name is Moses? So yeah, that's not gonna be good.
Levi. So both the other Marys are Levi. Her name, her cousin is a Levite, Elizabeth, right? But magically, she's from David's house. Now, of course, it's not far-fetched. The priest could have easily married a Judite woman. Now, he's an Aaronite. Where does Aaron go?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Why are you skipping the possibility of the mothers being cousins? And the mothers are Judah. Okay, how about that?
Aaron's suburbs are amongst Judah. It's possible, right? But it's a stretch at this point, officer.
Well, the stretch is saying Joseph is the biological father with like really no evidence, no good evidence, no actual evidence, and no good evidence. Like we would love to see how is Joseph the father, fulfillment, not tell me a prophecy with David or Abraham, the son of Abraham, the son of David. Okay, when are you gonna read me the son of Joseph in those prophecies, or the seed of David? When are we gonna read the seed of Joseph?
It makes sense. If she's a Levite, he couldn't just go to her house like that.
Exactly.
Like, what is this Judite doing?
So now they present a straw man. They're like making her a Levite the Levites, and they're not. See, this is why, like, when we study amongst each other, I always ask people. I'm like, yo, I got a plethora of inboxes. I'm like, yo, what about this idea? And I really like believe the ideas make some sense. And then one of my partners would shoot it down, and I'll be feeling some type of way, like, you just are you, are you shooting it down because I thought about it first, and you just shooting it down, or are you shooting it down because you think it doesn't make any sense? You dig? So, do you think they're doing that? Do you think they are going to be that honest and transparent with each other, where they just could shoot it down because it really just don't make any sense? Because the people I study with, we be having, some discussions on doctrine where we really don't necessarily agree with each other, but we be like, we'll like force each other to produce hard evidence to support their reason why they don't agree. You know what I mean? Okay, if you don't agree, why? Like, what is your evidence to support what you believe? So that's what we do. They all believe the same thing, and they have a leader. Like, we don't have a leader. We just study together. These guys got leaders, so it's like they got hierarchy. So it's like, maybe I want to challenge because there's possible backlash from a leader. But when you're all the same level, you're all peers. There's no leader.
He's coming. First off, she's not in the priest's house no more.
You could be
Because the scriptures are very clear about that. Once a Levitical daughter is married to somebody outside of Levi now, yeah, you go with them now. You ain't coming up over here with all of that. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is very consistent here. You see what I'm saying? But now to make her a Judite, it's inconsistencies. If there's no room at Joe's house, why can't he go to her people's house? Or if they're cousins, right? Because they're both supposed to be coming from David. Why is there no mention of her people ever? Right? But now watch this. Who Joseph's family is talked about in depth, right? In the book of Luke.
Yeah, you would think their argument you would think they should be arguing that Mary's, like, they should really try to, they'd be better off arguing a tribe for Mary that's not Judah. So I'm trying to give them their strong argument. So like they should really try to stick to arguing that Mary is from Levi and have us saying she's not, like pulling that argument to pieces. But once you leave Mary up there for grabs, we're going to say Judah. And again, we have more circumstantial evidence that she's from Judah than you guys have that she's from somewhere else, including Levi. That's the problem with you guys.
Go to Luke 1. Right? Go
back to Luke.
Start at what? 5.
Luke 1-5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias.
There was a priest named Zacharias, read.
Of the course of Abiah.
Of the course of Abiah, right? Aaron is his father. Then there's, of course, 24 priestly courses that David made, right? Abiah is one of those courses, right? Meaning you had the incense burners, you had the ones that guarded the door, you had the high priest, you had a different priest set up. And they set them into courses, and the courses determine you work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, right? That's the course that is of Abiah, right? So it's mentioning not only he's a Levite, not only he's an Aaronite, but the course he's of, right? Read.
And his wife was of the daughters of Aaron.
And his wife of the daughters. So then it talks about his wife of the daughters of Aaron. So we know who Elizabeth's lineage is. We know John the Baptist's father lineage. We know Joseph's lineage. The only person whose lineage is not talked about in depth is Mary. Coincidentally enough, right? But if it's her that makes Yahushua a Judite, if it's her that makes Yahushua of the lineage.
Well, we're not sure totally if it's Mary that makes Jesus a Judite. It could be just the declaration of the Lord. The Lord just say it. He's just like Meech said, that just like Jacob is Israel, just you're Israel. Okay, the same way Jesus is Judah. I mean, he was born in the USA. Nah, but he was born in Judea. which makes him a Jew.
David, why don't we see her lineage described in the depth that we see everybody else's lineage in this?
Says any stuff historical. He's funny. I think Garfield argue. I think that's more Garfield's channel. They argue the historicity of Jesus and these people. I don't. I don't argue that. I argue more so the storyline. Yeah, I'm a guy that. Listen, some of us will have arguments over movies, right? And we know the movie's fictional, but we will argue about the events in a movie, like what's true, especially if there's like hidden plots and or let's say Harry Potter, whoever read that will argue, hey man, this is done because of that. No, sir, it was done because of this. Could you think about that? You know what I mean? So stories that's supposed to be perplexing and um puzzle, the story's like supposed to be like a puzzle. You know, I'm trying to think. What I think the Blair Witch Project. I think we we're debating that. Yeah, so there are some movies that leave you with debates afterwards. The Malcolm X movie. So you look at the Bible, same thing. It's a story that has controversy, that has like puzzles in there you try to figure out. And I think it's good for the brain.
Right? Don't even make sense. Go ahead, point.
And he's saying that Elizabeth and Mary had their mother was of the tribe of Judah, right? Of the tribe of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what determines her from being from the daughters of Aaron then? If her mother's from the tribe of Judah, and that's what determines Christ from being a Judite is his mom. So
why isn't she of the daughters of David?
Right.
She's of the daughters of Aaron.
Exactly. So where's the distinction? Because the father, Dami just said it. Zechariah, the course of Abiah.
Yeah, these guys' logic is so it's like infantile. But now these guys can, because they are the targets, like they can easily invite people to their studies and get an actual response, which can edify everybody. Nope, they rather just talk amongst themselves and ask questions up in the air that neither one are going to try to solve. So they're not falsifying anything. It's they definitely not falsifying. Well, they might try to falsify our stance, but they're definitely not trying to falsify their own stances, and that's where they mess up at.
How do you say it? Where are you getting this from? You're just making it up as you go.
And this is what you have to do to uphold madness, like the immaculate deception, right? So now let's go back to Matthew 1 now, right, where it's very, very clear through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh.
Let's go here.
Go ahead, start at 1:1.
Matthew 1:1, the book of the generation of Jesus.
Wait, before they do that, I still want to look at this. Okay, we talked about haste, right? We did that. I'm just trying to dot all my I's and cross all the T's right here. And he came by the Spirit into the temple. Hmm. So they're going back to Nazareth, they returning back to Galilee to their own city, Nazareth. To see, it's saying, so he wanted to know where it says there. So there you go. It says, so he asked about the there thing. So it says, and when they had performed all things according to the law of the Lord, they returned into Galilee, their own city. So I thought his city was Bethlehem of Judea. So let me add this in my notes. Why is it saying, you know what? Why is it saying their city is now Nazareth? Okay. Why is this saying their city's Nazareth now? If their city is Bethlehem of Judea. Document this. Documenting the evidence. That time be flying. You be studying, trying to get to the truth. Okay, so I found that's interesting. Now they went back to their own city. I thought their city was Bethlehem of Judea. And the grace of God upon him. They went to Jerusalem seeking Jesus. They found him in the temples. He went down with them, came to Nazareth, and was subject unto them. So he was subject unto them. Okay, and he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. He went down with them and came to Nazareth. So he left Jerusalem finally. So he wanted to stay and do his father's business in Jerusalem, but he was subject to Mary and Joseph, so he went back to Nazareth. That is very, very interesting. Which question, Mimi? Type in the chat. Which question? Now, in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate, coming to Judea, and King and Herod being from Galilee. So Pontius Pilate was over Judea. See, some of this stuff I just gloss right past. I don't really hearken to it. So Pontius Pilate being governor in Judea, and Herod. Wait, I thought Herod was king. Let me see. Yeah, see, look, this says now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem in the days of Herod the king. Okay, but it doesn't say he was king of Judea, so he was king, right? But over here it says he was king. I don't even know what that word is. And he gonna cat. In the Roman Empire, the governor of one of four divisions, a country or province. Okay. One of four joint rulers. Make sure it's not. Yeah, it was gonna be loud. Turn it down.
Tetrarch.
Tetrarch. Okay. So in the Roman Empire, the governor of one. Okay, so they all were governors. So why was he called the king then? So why is he called king here? Herod the king. And then here it calls him Herod being governor of Galilee. And his brother Philip was the governor of Iturea. And Lisa is the okay, so this is the four rulers. So you got one, you got two, you got three, you got four. So these are the four rulers of the provinces. Okay. So it lists all the four rulers. That's interesting. Historical. Yeah, so the historicity is not my expertise. Annas and Caiaphas being the high priest, the word of God came unto John, the son of Zechariah. He came to all the country about joy and priesthood, blah, blah, blah. All flesh shall see salvation. Then said, oh, but Herod being reproved by him from Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. That's a hell of a name. All the evils which Herod had done. He should shut up John in prison. So everybody said enough of that shit. Okay, all right. So interesting. All right, let's go.
Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob.
So now we start here, right? Matter of fact, start back at 1 and read slow.
The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, Yahushua, the son of David.
It said what?
The son of David.
The son of David.
The son of Abraham.
It's the son of David, the son of Abraham, right? So he's David's son and he's Abraham's son. And this is his lineage. This is what generation means. We showed.
Oh boy, here we go. They're confusing generation and genealogy, but
that in Exodus 6. Let's go further. Let's just look at this term, this word generation up in the Greek. Genesis. Source, origin, the book of one's lineage in which his ancestry or progeny are enumerated.
And what is the
Wait a goddamn minute. a book of one's lineage.
All right. So let me see something. Okay. So you see that this generation. Oh my God. These guys are horrible. Even no man pointed this out. This word generation is different. See, it's a generation here. That word is different than this word down here. These are two different words. One is Genesis, and this is Genesis. Okay, the other one is Genesis. This is Genesi. These are two different words. They're not the same word. See, this is Genei. I said side. This is Genei. Okay, which means generations. Let me go up. Let me see something. Make sure I'm right. Yeah, so this is the root word Genea. All right, so let's just do it right now. Let's do it. Greek detected. So it's the root. Genea. Genea, not it. Genea. Okay. So
Γενεά,
Genea. All right, cool. So now let's go to the inflected. Genei. So this was singular. I believe it's going to be the plural. Yep.
γενεέ,
Okay, just Genei. All right, so let's go here. Let's go. So this is verse 17 generation. Let's go to the top. Where it says generation. Geneseos. Okay.
Strong's G 1078. Genesis.
Okay, so this is
Genesis.
the root, but the actual word in the verse is that Geneseos. So let's just go here, do one by one. Genesis. So this is the entire. This is not generation. This is actually just the word Genesis, which has a different definition of generation. Yeah, these guys are horrible, and this is the actual word in the verse, Geneseos. Geneseos. So let's see what that says. Of birth. Oh my God. So these dudes are happy for no reason. This says the birth, the book of the birth. Oh my God. Let's be clear. Let's make sure before I run off. Okay. So this is how it's used in the Bible. So it's used 3 times in the New Testament. So it says, for if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural birth face in a glass. 3:6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body and setteth on fire the course of nature. Oh, so this word also means natural. So it says his natural face in the glass. So this word can mean generation, it means natural, it means nature. So the nature of Jesus Christ, the book of the nature, the book of the birth. Okay. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's get out of that. And let's go here now. Let's go here. So this, okay, so let's look at all the times used. Here we go. Dang, wow. So it's interesting. So he's trying to read it and he doesn't even understand what he's reading. This is used for generation. This is used for natural. So now let's get some definitions here. So let's just put Thayer's lexicon. So when you read Homer, this normally means, I thought it meant go to the Hebrew. You see Homer, that's a clue that you got to look in the Hebrew. So here's the Hebrew. The book. This is the book of generation of Adam. So we could look at it what it means there. But okay, yeah, it says birth. It says source of origin. Right. Listen, how does this go with them? So the first definition is the source of origin. Right. So that means it's going to show the origin of Jesus. So if it only lists his mother, it's telling you the source of Jesus' birth is with his mother. I don't know how this is a win for them, but let's hear them out. Let's hear them out.
Genesis. Source, origin, the book of one's lineage in which his ancestry or progeny are enumerated.
And what is the
Wait a goddamn minute. A book of one's lineage, i.e., in which his ancestry or progeny.
Oh no. See, you keep okay. See, then they go to the tricks. Outline biblical usage means that it's used different areas for different things. And you see, we read it means nature. So it's letting you know. So in which ancestry, a books of one lineage, i.e., in which his ancestry or progeny are enumerated. But then it says use of birth and nativity, and it shows Jesus' birth. Okay, so since they want to show it all, let's show it all. Of that which follows origin, existence, life, the will of life. Other explain it, the will of human origin, which as soon as men are born begins to run its course of life. Yeah, I'm confused how this is a slam dunk for them.
Enumerated. So this is the book where the lineage of Christ is named, but he doesn't have lineage.
Well, that's in your mind, because it shows that he has a mother, and their belief, the mothers don't mean shit. Like, that's just their belief. That's a personal belief. That's a person, but that's why they keep missing it. So that's why they're not really. They can never be academics. They can never be scholars, because you have to consider it all. You can't just rule it out. That's wild. Like, they just rule out mothers altogether. That's not even a thought when they try to find proper exegesis. They don't even think about the mother. The mother's ruled out, done. And like real researchers, scholars, scientists, you never you consider everybody, then you rule them out one by one. That's called falsifying. So you gotta rule out the possibility of it being Mary, and they can't do that. They can't do it.
And the root word of lineage is a line. So this is literally the line that you trace from Abraham all the way to Joseph, but then it cuts off. The line cuts off is what they're saying. And Joseph is his father.
And then it says generation. This is the word Genesis, which means beginning. The root of that is gene. It's where you get the term genes from.
No. Now we go to some black algae babble. Come on, dude. If we're gonna stick with the Greek definition, stick with the Greek. All right. Let's see. They say they go with this picking and choosing stuff. See, how you gonna break down a Greek word in English? Ain't that ironic? We're talking about the origins, and they're trying to break down a Greek word from an English language that comes later. Oh, boy.
His genes are from the list of men that it's getting ready to list, but they're not actually his pops though. Which is where he gets his genetics from.
Yeah, he just went from Genesis to gene to genetics. You know what? Let's just see. Let's say, let's do the English. All right, let's just see. I'm just curious. I'm just curious now. I'm just curious. See, it says origin Greek. So how do you break down this word in English if the origin is Greek? All right. Oh, okay. It says Genesis derives from Latin. Look at this. So what was he doing with the whole gene genetics? It says, what is the root of the word Genesis? Genesis derives via Latin from the Greek genestai, meaning to be born. That's why we read birth. It's the birth of Jesus Christ. Can refer to the origin or beginning of anything from a heavenly body to an idea. All right. So what's the Hebrew? Romanized, the beginning. Yeah. So where did he get this? Where did he get this? I'm trying to be fair here. I'm doing a live research. I'm trying to find this gene genetics. But really, this is what we're talking about. They pick and choose when they just go to the Greek, and then now we're going to a made up. All right, so let me go to. I'm trying to go to etymology.com. That's what I'm trying to go. There we go. So maybe this would favor them. So I'm trying to do honest research. I'm trying to really like eliminate all possibilities. So when they say this in real life, I say, dude, stop it. So maybe he got that from here. Okay, so it says, come on. All right, so now look what you first read. It says, Old English Genesis, first book of the Pentateuch, which tells, among other things, the creation of the world, from Latin Genesis, generation, nativity, and late Latin taken as a title of the first book of the Old Testament, from Greek Genesis, origin, creation, generation, from gig nestai, to be born, related to genos, race, birth, descent. It's related to it. Doesn't say that means that it's, oh God, these guys are terrible. From pi root gene, give birth, beget, which derives with derivatives referring to procreation and familial and tribal groups. Greek translators use, now watch this. It says Greek translators use the word as a title of the biblical book, rendering Hebrew Bereshit, literally in the beginning, which was the first word of the text taken as the title, extended sense of origin, creation, first recorded English. Where do we see gene, genetics, all this bullshit he was talking about? So this says from pi root gene. Gene, also gene, Proto-Indo-European root meaning give birth, beget, with derivatives referring to procreation and familial and tribal groups. So where do you do? Where do you get genetics? This says gene as to giving birth, which we all agree Genesis it defined it as give birth. This is wild. All right. So now I'm interested. Let me see seed. Now I'm here. Let's do seed. Okay. Let me just control F sperm. All right. So the word sperm not here at all. Oh my God. Yeah, look at this. Oh, I gotta use this. Oh my God. It says Middle English said, from Old English said, Anglian, West Saxon, that which may be sown, is talking about original or like a seed, and an individual grain of seed, from Proto-Germanic, city, seed, source also of Old Norse, Old Saxon said, Old Frien said, blah, 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 blah. Then it says figurative sense of offspring, progeny, posterity, now rare or archaic, except in biblical use, was in English. Figurative meaning that from which anything springs, Latin beginning, is by late Old English. Where do you, then it says this, it says act or time of sowing, the meaning semen, male fecundating fluid, also now archaic, biblical. So it says male semen. It says this is 14th century, or this offspring, the meaning semen fluid, now archaic or biblical, is from 1300. But it's actually giving you dates here. Okay. So this is exactly what Blue Letter says. Blue Letter says seed. This is exactly what it says. Seed, figurative offspring, and then it says from late 14th back time. The meaning semen, male, also now is from 1300 for the sporting sense. Seed. Let me see. The verb. Yeah. Okay, that's going off. Yeah. So here it tells you. I mean, I don't know how we're getting caught up. But anyway, I was just curious about the Genesis thing.
This is crazy, right? So we just start there. Back Matthew 1:1. Let's read it again.
The book of the generation of Jesus Christ.
The book of the progeny and lineage of Jesus Christ. Read.
The son of David,
Uh-huh.
the son of Abraham.
His lineage comes from Abraham and David. Go ahead.
Abraham begat Isaac.
We know Abraham begat Isaac. Read.
Isaac begat Jacob.
Read on.
Jacob begat Judah
Uh-huh.
and his brethren.
Right. Read.
And Judah begat Phares.
Uh-huh.
And Zerah of Thamar.
Of who?
Of Thamar.
Of Thamar. This is what you got to pay attention. Read this again.
And Judah begat Phares
Uh-huh.
and Zerah of Thamar.
Why is Thamar? So, because we're going to see a list of men, but every once in a while, a woman will be brought into the situation, right? A woman will be mentioned. Why is Thamar being mentioned in Matthew 1 and 3?
Tell us.
Do we know? Nah, because she's a heathen.
But he thinks Tamar's a heathen? He thinks Tamar's a heathen? Oh my God. Yeah, these guys are bad in the Bible. Oh God. But even that's gonna work against them. That's gonna, because now there's 3 heathens. There's Ruth, Rahab, now Tamar, who we would say is Tamar. Okay, this is interesting.
Thamar is being mentioned for the same way we're going to mention Rechab, and the same reason is going to mention Ruth, because these are stories in the Bible, right? There's a whole story about Thamar and how Judah had to trick Judah into soliciting her for sex.
But this is a whole story about Deborah as well. Why ain't she in here? There's a whole story about Esther. Why ain't she in here? There's a whole book named Esther. There's a whole book named Esther with more chapters than Ruth. So why isn't Esther in here? If it's about, so there's a story about Sarah. There's a story about Rachel, Leah, Rebecca. There's a story about other women. Why aren't they? Bathsheba isn't there. But there's a story about Athaliah, the woman king.
And knocking her up.
Yeah,
right?
So we got to mention that. Like, there was a woman king. There was a woman ruler of Israel. That's part of the exception. I got to remember to use that. The exception to the rule. Normally, the rulers of Israel are kings, but there was an exception that there was a woman ruler. Did y'all know that? All right, hold on. So there was a woman king in the Bible. Let me try. I can't lie. I always forget her name. Okay. Woman. There's always an exception, man, in the Bible. That's what we keep pointing out to these guys. There's always an exception. The rule is never totally concrete in most cases. All right, so let's go here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so 2 and 20 years old was Haziah. when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel. Okay, this is northern kingdom. Yep. And when Athaliah, the mother of Uzziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the royal seed. Let you know, is this the royal sperm? Is this the royal sperm, or is it the royal sons of the throne? Okay. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Jerome, sister of Uzziah, took Joash, the son of Uzziah, and stole him from among the king's sons. Okay, so now we see king's sons and we see royal seed. Like you keep seeing seed and sons interchangeable in the Bible. Okay, so which were slain and they hid. So look, she was trying to destroy the royal seed and the king's sons, which were slain. Who were slain? She was trying to slay the royal seed and the king's sons, which were slain. And they hid him, even him and his nurse, and the bed in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so he was not slain. This seed was not slain. It's not sperm. And he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. And Athaliah did reign over the land. So Athaliah was reigning over the land for 6 years. A woman. So you ask the question, brother, there are exceptions. No, they're not. Okay. So everybody who reigned over Israel, were they men? And I'm not even sure if they even know about Athaliah. I'm not even sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be like, nah, only men rule. Okay. All right.
There's a whole story about Ruth. There's a whole story about Rahab the harlot who was spared.
There's a story about all these women. That's the point. But the point is, these 5 women are here for a different reason, and they don't know why. They don't even try to research why. Again, they don't even go to the experts and say, why are these 5 women listed here amongst all other women in Israel?
For being a spy for us in our conquest, right? So because there's remarkable stories about these women, when the men that are their husbands are mentioned in the lineage, they are mentioned as well because it was a remarkable instance. No other wives are mentioned, but in these instances, the same reason why later in the chapter, Mary will also be mentioned.
Okay, so it's interesting that he mentioned these guys. So let me show you what I got. All right, so Tamar, baby daddy was Judah. Rahab, baby daddy was Solomon. Ruth, baby daddy was Boaz. Bathsheba, baby daddy was King David. And Mary, husband, was Joseph. He's not the baby daddy. Okay, so Tamar played the harlot, so you can call her a harlot. Rahab was a harlot by profession, call her a harlot. Bathsheba was an adulterer. Mary, Joseph thought was an adulterer. And Ruth was a Gentile. Okay, a Moab. Let me see if I can find. I wanted to see if I could find something. Let me see. Yeah, I know it was it the book of Esther? Let me see. Let's see. One of these books down here. It's one of these. It's either Ezra or Nehemiah. Let me see. What word am I looking for? What words am I looking for? Okay, go in. Let me see. Let me do Mary. Okay, so it's not that one. All right. Okay. Yeah, it was Mary, I think. Let me make sure. No, it's not Mary, or I'm in the wrong book. So let me do take. I can't think of the language that they use. These had taken strange wives. So we're getting close. Getting close. My man name is almost Messiah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting close. But I don't believe this is going to be it. Yeah, let's see. This might be it. Yep, I knew it. It was it. So you got the. So here we go. You had. Let me put this down in my notes. Okay. Ezra 9. I knew I'd find it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Okay. So anyway, Moabites were some of the despised. It says, now when these things were done, the prince came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the land, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, and the Moabites, and the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken the daughters from themselves for their sons. So the Holy See had, the Holy Sperm, you idiots, the Holy See had might mingle themselves with the people of those lost land. Yea, in the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in his trespass. And when I heard this thing, I heard my crying. Blah, 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 blah. So let me go to. Yeah, I'm going to save this. Okay, here we go. Now, therefore, give not your daughters until their sons. That means everybody listed up there, I named those heathens. Neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and he good, blah, blah, blah. So you don't go after those women, but Ruth was a Moabite. So you got Mary and Bathsheba, who were seen as adulterers. You got Rahab and Tamar, who was seen as harlots. And you got Ruth, who was seen as a Moabite, who the Lord specifically said, don't give your sons to them and don't give your daughters to them. Okay, so Moabite was shamed to like go into them, an adulterer is shamed, and a harlot is shamed. So those 5 women were shamed at some point. Okay, that's what they have in common. That's why you don't have women with like a great reputation in there. Okay, let me get out of that. Okay, let's go on. So they don't know why.
Because they always act as if there's something unique in the case of Mary, when what's going on is there are other remarkable women in this lineage as well, and they are singled out and mentioned, right? Because we can go and read about Thamar in Genesis, right? So now keep going.
It says, and Pharez begat Esrom, and Esrom begat Aram, and Aram begat Aminadab, and Aminadab begat not a son, and not a son begat Solomon. And Solomon begat Boaz of Ruth, of Rahab.
Of Rahab the harlot, who we read about, right? Read.
And Boaz begat Obed of Ruth.
So these are remarkable stories. So the women that are involved in those stories are mentioned, right? Go ahead.
And Obed begat Jesse. And Jesse begat David the king. And David the king begat Solomon of her that had been the wife of Uriah. And Solomon,
I don't even think he knows why he's reading his lineage. He's just like, why are we reading these names? Just like no reason. So when I read these names, I tie them to something. I don't just say, go ahead, read, read, When you get done reading the line, I explain why we just read that. He's just reading. He's just looking for something.
Sheba. Mhm.
And Solomon beget Rehoboam, and Rehoboam beget Abiah, and Abiah beget Asa.
Mhm.
And Asa beget Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat beget Joram, and Joram beget Ozias. And Ozias beget Jotham, and Jotham beget
He just read for no
Achaz,
reason.
and Achaz beget Ezekiel.
So as we can see here, there's a theme. Somebody begat somebody, begat somebody, begat somebody.
Yep.
Right? Keep going.
And Achaz beget Hezekiah, and Hezekiah begat
This is the high
Manasseh,
school
and
dropout
Manasseh
logic.
begat Ammon, and Ammon beget Josias. And Josias beget
You
Jeconiah.
can tell if you ever had like a 9 to 5, you work with him. I had to like critical think some things out, the game plan out to get the job done. You could tell he had the dumbest suggestions. You like, dude, no, if we do that, then this happens. Then this was all contaminated or adulterated. No, bro, we can't do that. He thinking like, oh yeah, like I know he had the dumbest ideas on the job.
And his brethren about the time they were carried away to Babylon. And after they were brought to Babylon, Jeconiah begat Salathiel, and Salathiel begat Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel begat Abihud, and Abihud begat Eliakim, and Eliakim
He made
begat
all he made him
Azor.
read all those names.
And Azor begat Sadak, and Sadak begat Akim, and Akim beget Elihud, and Elihud beget Eleazar, and Eleazar beget Mathan,
Mhm.
and Mathan begat Jacob.
And behind, what verse we at?
Verse 16 now.
Okay. And Mathan begat Jacob. Read.
And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary.
The what?
The husband of Mary.
Interesting. Her husband. Right? Read.
Of whom was born Jesus,
Uh-huh.
who is called Christ.
So they
you know
go.
what's crazy? I just caught that. Look at this. This even more. Look at us. I just caught this now. It's funny. Okay, so it says the husband of Mary. So like I said, when it says something and say of, what comes after is usually tied to that. So it says, so Mary is of the husband, like Tone says, read it backwards. Mary is of the husband of Joseph, right? Of whom was born Jesus, belongs to Mary, and who is called Christ belongs to Jesus. You just read it backwards. Who is called Christ is who Jesus is, and whoever born Jesus is of Mary, and Mary is of the marriage, or you can say Joseph. But each one after the of belongs to the one before the of. So Christ belongs to Jesus, Jesus belongs to Mary, or better like this. Christ is called, and let me just read the text. Christ is called Jesus. Jesus is born of Mary, and Mary is the husband of Joseph. So if you read it backwards, you see who ties with who. You don't need to guess. But watch how they botch this. I got faith in them. They're gonna botch it.
See, of whom was born Jesus is talking about Mary. Here's interesting. Jacob.
So he admit that. Oh my God. Wait a minute. What?
So they go, see, of whom was born Jesus is
we
talking
said
about Mary. Here's interesting. Jacob begat Joseph, right? Okay. Jacob begat Joseph. What's the word for begat? Strong's G, 1080, right?
Oh, this guy's
Janelle,
terrible.
right? Of men who fathered children to be born to be begotten, right?
Wait, stop right here. Women giving birth to children. Are we going to read that? It says to be born. It says of women giving birth to children. So we're not going to consider that definition. Then now remind you, this is not the definition. These are Bible usages. It's how this word begat is used differently in the Bible. So that means sometimes it's used of women giving birth to children. But somehow the brother with the high school dropout education, he just ignores that as a possibility.
Also talks about women giving birth to children, but the principle.
Okay, to be delivered, to bring forth, born, bear, be born. So begot is mentioned, but other things are being mentioned as well.
Definition is of men who father children, and that is the context in which
wait.
the principal definition is of men.
This guy said principal definition.
who father children, and that is the context in which the word has been used the entire chapter.
Right. It's for the word begot. So keep in mind, he defined begot. Well, actually, he defined ganao, which is, you could say begot, same thing, but we know it's not, but similar.
Right?
Yep.
Now let's go to the word when it says of whom was born Jesus. When it says born, it's the same word.
Oh my, I got him. He's done. He's done. He's done. He's done. He's done. He's done. He's done.
Jacob begat.
Let me clip
Here's
this.
interesting. Jacob begat Joseph. Of whom was born Jesus is talking about Mary. Here's interesting.
Well, yeah, that was bad. You should never admit that.
Called Christ.
So they go, see, of whom was born Jesus
said
is
us.
talking about Mary. Here's interesting.
Okay, so he protects himself in that one. But he's still done by going into the Greek. Okay. Oh my God, this guy is terrible. No wonder he won't talk to me, man. No wonder he will not talk to me. There's a reason why he will not talk to me. That is wow. Matter of fact, let me email. Since I'm emailing, let me email the brother I said I was gonna email. So I already emailed. I had already emailed him. The Grla Hebrew. I emailed him tonight. When I seen their email. I seen an email right here. So y'all see me earlier in this. I had copied that. Yeah, to join email shit. Oops. Okay. So I emailed him. I wonder if one of those guys are up late right now. Let me see. Nah, I'm not gonna do that with nobody right now. I end up waking them up for sure. Okay. Okay. 2739. You make that.
Right? And who father children, and that is the context in which the was born Jesus. When it says born, it's the same word. The same word that says begotten that refers to men having sons. This whole time is also used about Jesus. So it's also saying that Yahushua is begotten of Joseph. Of Joseph. What it says when it says, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was begotten Jesus. Of whom was begotten Jesus means Mary is the womb that was used again. So let's go back to 1 and 3. Read 1 and 3.
Oh, so that's where Ariela got this from. Yeah, this is 3 years ago. So Ariela got this from him.
And Judah begat Phares and Zerah.
Back to 1 and 3. Read 1 and 3.
And Judah begat Phares and Zerah of Thamar.
Of who?
Of Thamar.
So it says he begat of Thamar. Read verse 16.
It says, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus.
So exactly, of Mary. So it's still Joseph doing the begatting of Mary, the same way Judah begats of Tamar, the same way that Boaz begats, or Salakia, the one before Boaz.
But you see what happens here? The verse he's talking about, the verb begot was before the word of. So it said Salmon begot Boaz of Rahab. So the verb came before the of. Here, the whom or the of comes before the verb. It's a big difference there, my boy. But yeah, he needs a serious grammar touch up.
Begats of Rechab, the same way that Boaz begats of Ruth, the same way Joseph begats of Mary. Now watch.
Okay.
This begats of Ruth, the same way Joseph begats of Mary. Now watch.
All right, so there we go. Got it. That was some retarded shit just now. And to prove his point, he's going to go into a whole different text translation. He's going to go to Syriac right here that he cannot demonstrate. All right. So, yeah, so this just puts him in a whole world.
This is the Syriac Sinaiticus, one of the oldest New Testaments, right? Look at this notable
Okay,
reading
so
in
now
Matthew
he misrepresented
1 and
that.
16.
He just lied.
Yahweh Shai waiting, come to take the throne, to conquer what.
This whole time is also used about Jesus. So it's also saying that Yahushua is begotten of Joseph. Of Joseph. That's what it's saying. When it
Yeah,
says,
he's
and
making
Jacob
big
begat
mistakes,
Joseph,
man. That's
the husband of Mary, of whom was begotten Jesus. Of whom was begotten Jesus means Mary is the womb that was used again. So let's go back to 1 and 3. Read 1 and 3.
And Judah begat
Jacob begat Joseph,
bad.
right? Okay. Jacob begat Joseph. This is the Syriac Sinaiticus, one of the oldest New Testaments, right? Look at this notable
so
reading in Matthew 1 and 16. It contains
It's
Joseph, to whom was betrothed Mary, begat Jesus, who is called Christ. So the earlier New Testaments even reflected this, that Yahushua is begotten the same way everybody else in this chapter is, by the man that's mentioned. And the only times in special circumstances are the women mentioned, right? And that's all that happened here, right? So it's clear in these documents. So that's why he's got to hang the phone up, because I have no problem dealing with any of this. Let's go into it. Number one, the guy is actually Syrian, Assyrian. So he should know about the Syriac Sinaiticus, because this is written in his language, right? Yeah, so he should actually know about this stuff, but he'll deny it, which is madness. Go ahead.
You made a great point. Every time a woman is mentioned in Matthew chapter 1, if they mention the same way in phraseology that Mary is mentioned in
this is a piss poor argument, man. This is terrible. God, no wonder he don't want to debate Michael Brown on the text. He'd rather debate the historicity of the children of Israel, some goofy stuff, or the real Israelites. So yeah, Michael Brown want to debate the claims you're making, my boy. You make some big claims. Textual claims, like you're doing right now. That's what Michael Brown want to debate. Okay, so you made a big mistake, but I got you. I'm going to help you out.
Verse 16. So are we then to assume that if every single one of these women were born of an immaculate conception? Because verse 3, and Judah begat Pharez and Zerah of Thamar. Was that immaculate conception? And Solomon begat Boaz of Ruth. Is that immaculate conception? And Jesse begat David the king, and David the king begat Solomon of her that had been the wife of Uriah. That's Bathsheba. All three of those cases, is it immaculate conception?
No, because it says the father begot the son. You don't see that in verse 16. That's why they're different.
So why does it change in verse 16? When the prior 3 times we see a woman of begat of this woman, it's not immaculate conception. But all of a sudden, it just changes to fit their ideology.
No, it changed so that it cannot fit in your ideology, to show that Joseph begot Jesus. It doesn't say that like it says for everybody else. So it changed so it cannot fit your ideology. So the story can be what's supposed to be, which Tone said, which is the virgin birth. So all of that is to show that there's a virgin birth, showing you Joseph did not birth Jesus. He didn't help birth Jesus at all. Okay.
Sanity.
Don't even make no sense.
Okay, verse.
All right, hold on. So let me pause this for 1 second. Trying to see another. No, I'll play it. Hold on. I'll stop.
So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David unto the carrying away of.
Let me turn the Bible. I can't read here.
Babylon are 14 generations.
Uh-huh.
And from the carrying away into Babylon.
Too loud. Oops. All right. Let me see now.
Unto Christ are 14 generations.
Go ahead.
Now the birth of.
A little down more. That's too loud.
Yahushua was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together.
Okay, before they came together, this is what they always go into. Before they came together, what does came together mean? Let's find out. Came together, Strong's G 4905. To come together, to assemble, of conjugal cohabitation, meaning they didn't live together yet, or they didn't have their assembly or their.
Wait. Okay, so we know what conjugal. So let's just do this real quick. Conjugal. Uh-oh. Oh shit. Hold on. I know I spelled it wrong. Hold on. Baby woke up. Okay, give me a second to email. Got some email. Mm. Oh, let me know. Let me fix. Let me try to fix this trackpad now. But he disabled this thing somehow. Trackpad. Here we go. Hopefully this. Oh, he did something. Yeah, he did something. It is not working. Let's try this. Do that. Wow. So that didn't work. He did something. I think he added liquid to my trackpad. It's not working. Okay. I don't. Let me try this. Yeah, it's not working. He did something to my trackpad. Oh, it's the lava. He did something to it. It's not working. I don't know what he did. It's definitely not working.
Meditation, meaning
And
didn't live together yet, and or they didn't have their assembly or their marriage ceremony yet. This does not mean marriage. This does not mean sex. This means conjugal cohabitation. Give me the apocrypha real quick.
Sirach 42:10. Yep. It says,
so where do you read marriage feast?
in her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house.
Gotten with child in her father's house. Go up earlier though, so we can
Verse
get there.
9. It says, the father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled.
And her virginity. Oh, Salakia. What verse is that?
Sirach 42:10. 9 to 10.
Okay. So watch this. Read that again.
Sirach 42:10. In her virginity,
This dude said Sirach. He's on an apocrypha.
she should be defiled.
No, go up back to 9.
The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated.
So it's juxtaposing or comparing and contrasting youth and being older. When she's young and when she's married, right? It don't say old, it says married. That's what when she's grown, she's now married. Then young, right? Keep going.
In her virginity, when she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house.
Keep going.
And having an husband.
Having what?
And husband.
So now at first it said young and married. Now it's saying virginity and husband.
Yeah,
so it's talking about the same thing. Youth and being older. right? Just so we understand. So virginity,
But Grilla, he made some. This is 3 years ago. He made some big mistakes in the Greek. This is shameful. All right, hold on. Let me charge my phone.
they always go insane on the new definition of virginity. Virginity just means, from a Hebraic perspective, a woman who's young, but she also may be marriageable though she's young. Back at the top of 10.
In her virginity, lest she should be defiled,
Uh-huh.
and gotten with child in her father's
In
house.
her father's house. So this is, start back at 8, right?
Be not ashamed to inform the unwise and
So
foolish.
the context here, it talks about being not ashamed, then it goes into the father and the things that bring shame to a father, right? So it was looked at customarily amongst our people to it being shameful for this girl to be pregnant and still live at her pop's house. She should be off with her husband in his home by the time she brings forth child. So this is what the fuss is about with Mary and Joseph. They hadn't come together, right? We see one of these definitions, conjugal cohabitation. They weren't living together, yet she, right? She's still staying at Pop's house, yet she is with child.
Oh my God. They just read a whole other story. They just read a whole other story and applied it to Mary and Joseph. Dude, that's terrible. While they ignore the possibility of her coming together with Joseph without having sex and being found with child. That's just out. That story's out. That thought is out the window. So they rather read another story and apply it to Mary. They'd be like, well, you know what? This probably happened with Mary. This helps. This makes sense for us. We're going to say this story is what happened with Mary. That is amazing. They could read a whole other story and say, hey, this happened with Mary. That is amazing. I sound like Jesse Pearson when I say that. That is amazing.
This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1.
Hold on, let me find my phone. Give me a second.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ, Yahushua, was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit.
Before they stand together, she's at Pop's house and she's late. In the period, it doesn't come. She's with child in Pop's house because Joe, he didn't want to wait. You promised her to me. She's mine. It's called a law. As soon as she's promised, she's as good as his. So his hands go up in the cookie jar, right? Go ahead.
Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man
Mhm.
and not willing to make her a public example.
We don't want to bring shame on this. We don't want this to be shameful. They hadn't come together, right? She should be off with her husband in his home by the time she brings forth child. So this is what the fuss is about with Mary and Joseph. They hadn't come together, right? We see one of these definitions is conjugal cohabitation. They weren't living together. Yet she, right? She's still staying at Pop's house, yet she is with child. This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ, Yahushua, was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to
child. This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1. They hadn't come together, right? We see one of these definitions is conjugal cohabitation. They weren't living together. Yet she, right? She's still staying at Pop's house, yet she is with child. This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1. They hadn't come together, right? We see one of these definitions is conjugal cohabitation. They weren't living together. Yet she, right? She's still staying at Pop's house, yet she is with child. This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1. They hadn't come together, right? We see one of these definitions is conjugal cohabitation. They weren't living together. Yet she, right? She's still staying at Pop's house, yet she is with child. This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1. They hadn't come together, right? We see one of these definitions is conjugal cohabitation. They weren't living together. Yet she, right? She's still staying at Pop's house, yet she is with child. This is the fuss, right? Go back to Matthew 1.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ, Yahushua, was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit.
Before they stand together, she's at Pop's house and she's late. In the period, it doesn't come. She's with child in Pop's house.
She had a period.
Because Joe, he didn't want to wait. You promised her to me, she's mine. It's called a law. As soon as she's promised, she's as good as his. So his hands go up in the cookie jar, right? Go ahead.
Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example.
We don't want to bring shame on this. We don't want this
Read
to
that.
be
That's great
shameful,
imagination.
right? Go ahead.
Was minded to put her away privily.
So they go, put her away. That means divorce. Because, of course, we see this terminology used for divorce, put away, right? So let's see, put her away privily. Watch this, privily. Just the word secretly, right? To secretly conceal her, right? Now, the word for divorce, when we see divorce in the New Testament, it's very plain. It's a strong word, Strong's G 647, and it's not used here. It's used in Matthew 5. Yahushua says, give a bill of divorcement. Moses suffered you to give a bill of divorcement. This is the only time we see the word divorce come up, right? So that's not what's being talked about here. It's talking about to conceal her, right? Meaning she's pregnant at Pop's house. We're going to hide her from public view so nobody finds out this happened, right? It says being a just man. Being a just man. A just man would do what to a woman who's pregnant not by him while she's espoused to him? Kill her. Rocks, stone her. She is adulterous, right? Go give me Deuteronomy 22.
No, don't make this mistake. Don't make this mistake. No, bro. Don't make this mistake.
Deuteronomy 22 and
Like 24.
You better than that.
Verse
Okay,
28.
yeah, okay. I'm about to say you're gonna
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin,
That's not what I need. I need
24?
before that.
Okay, okay. Deuteronomy 22. Okay, verse 23.
Uh-huh.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband,
She was betrothed unto Joseph. Read.
and a man finds her in the city and lie with her, then you shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stones.
This is what a just man does here.
Hey,
Brings them into the gate. What does that mean? Makes.
So he keeps saying this. You can't read it. So somebody gave a great scripture for what a just man would do. Who was that? Was it Micah? This is pretty good. Micah 6. Okay. So it says, what God requires of man. It says, verse 8, it says, he hath sheweth thee, O man, what is good, and what the Lord required thee, but do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. So he said to do justly, comma, then he explains, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. What part of the just is to kill your wife for being adultery? Like these, but nicely, like their mind state. These guys are sick.
Public example. Now, if we go to Matthew 1, what does it say? So I gotta keep your finger on it. Go ahead.
It says,
19.
Joseph being a just man and not willing to make her a public example.
He wasn't willing to make her a public example, but he's just, right? If he's just, he's gonna make her a public example and stone her and whatever nigga
Nah, that's foolish.
with her, right? That's what he should be wanting to do right now.
You know what?
But instead, he wants to
Let's see. Let's look at adjustment. Good instruction to wise man. Peace adjustment will increase. Yeah, The just man thing gets me.
He doesn't want people to find out that this is happening. What I'm also positive about is that maybe Joseph didn't have his own house at this time, and this could have been.
So again, it's fake academic, fake scholar. So he'll consider everything except for the obvious. He'll consider everything, but how about considering that Mary's actually pregnant with a child and it's not Joseph? The Holy Spirit made it happen. How about building an argument against that, or for it? But he won't even consider it. That's why they can't see it.
What was the issue? We got to hide her somewhere because I'm not ready. I'm not set up yet. I'm staying with such and such, and she's at Pop's house. That could be a factor here, just logically looking at it, right? But go ahead.
Keep going to Matthew.
Where we at? Matthew.
So that could be a logical possibility, but reading what the text actually says is not.
Yeah.
Okay, verse 20. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream.
So while he was like, damn, what I'm going to do, because people are going to talk negatively about this.
Yeah, but that's not. So what the brother said earlier was, so Joseph didn't sin, but he's going to sin because he didn't sin. So he said people are going to talk negatively about him. I mean, we don't read any of this in the text.
What do I do? Here comes the angel. Read.
Saying, Joseph, thou son of David.
Here we go. You son of David. Read.
Fear not to take unto thee Mary, thy wife, for that which is.
See, don't be afraid, because you're afraid of men's eyes. Because men are going to say this is wrong. But the law doesn't say if she still stays at Pop's, you can't knock her up, right? It's not customary or I.
So why would the angel come then? If it's not a big deal, the angel is going to come down for small human affairs.
But the law don't say this is a must. So the angel's saying, don't worry about what people are going to say or think. You take your wife. And if she's his wife, go ahead, officer.
The thing is, the angel called her his wife, but previous they didn't have a ceremony. So which one is it?
But she's already his wife because they already had sex, right? Read.
I'm going to ask
This guy narrative is terrible. Emphasize.
It says, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit.
That which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. Read.
And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins.
Right. And this is the name you're going to call him. Right. Hold on, Salaki. Where we at?
Verse 22 now. I wanted to keep reading and bring out a point.
Hold on.
All right, so I'm finally getting sleepy. It's perfect.
Read verse 20 again.
But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David,
Read.
Fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife.
Don't fear to take Mary your wife, right? Don't be afraid of this thing, of the judgment that people may give you for doing something that is transgresses customs. Because as we're going to see, part of the main thing that Yahushua harps on in his ministry is transgressing customs, because customs were being treated as Torah and they weren't, right? Read. Because according to Torah, Joseph has done nothing wrong. Read.
For that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua.
They say what?
She shall bring forth a son.
She is going to have a son, and what?
And thou shalt
read it slow,
and she shall bring forth a son.
She gonna have a kid, and what?
And thou.
Who?
Thou.
Wait a minute. If it ain't his kid, how did nigga get to name him? If it's not his kid, who's naming him?
Thou.
It's not, but that ain't his daddy. It's the woman, right? It say who should name it?
Thou.
It didn't say go tell Mary to name the kid something. It say you name him something, and you register this baby. Read.
For he shall save his people from their sins.
Now, you gonna call him Yahushua. Let's go back to Luke real quick. You people are crazy out there.
These guys be jumping around like they have a thing, like this cross, like a brand new band. These guys be jumping.
Let's go back to Luke. Luke 2 And read starting it. Let's start back at 1.
Luke 2:1. It says, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed.
Read.
And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city.
Everybody went to their own city to be taxed. Read.
And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David.
Read just like Yahweh shall. Read.
To be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child.
Read on.
And so it was, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered.
Read on.
And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
Everybody was at Joseph's house. It was too packed. There was no room. There was outside. Go ahead.
And there were in the same country shepherds.
Salakia, skip that. Hold on. Salakia. There's a point I want right here. Right here. So here's the point. Salakia, I skipped the point. The point is here. And it came to pass in those days that went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. So when he's taxed, right, he's registering him, his wife, and his child. That's his family. So now it's registered on paperwork. This is his son. This is his wife. And he named his son such and such, right? That's the whole thing that's going on. It's the same way if you sign up for the census and we go to the census of your house and you say, well, I'm the head of this household. It's me. Here's my wife's name. Here are my kids in this house, right? It's the same. That's what a census is. This is what's going on right here. Are you telling me they lied? Is this a lie? Because you know how the Christians are about lies, right? Is this are they lying now? They put on paper that somebody was his daddy that ain't his daddy? Come on now. Let's jump back up. Jump to verse 22.
Luke 2:22. And when the days of our purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, excuse me, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. That's 22. Keep going.
Go ahead.
As it is written in the law of the Lord, every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy to the Lord.
Read on.
And to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
So according to the law, right? So let's go to the law, Leviticus 13:1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, with a man, or Salakia, 12:1, my fault. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed. How do a woman conceive a seed? Sex, conception, right? Okay. If a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. Read 2:22.
Luke 2:22. And when the days of our purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished.
So it says, born a man child, she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of separation, for her infirmity shall she be unclean. These are the days of purification it's talking about. After this was accomplished, what happens? And in the 8th day, the flesh of the foreskin shall be circumcised. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying, right? It say what? Read it again, 22.
And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished.
Leviticus 13:4, and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 30 days. She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purification being purified be fulfilled. So after these 33 days, right? But these 33 days, she does this.
Yeah, guy got a wild imagination.
When the days are purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a
Part
daughter,
2.
she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, a young pigeon,
It's
or
around
a
2 o'clock.
turtle
It's past 2 o'clock. Damn, 2:30.
unto the
All
Lord
right. So
of the tabernacle in the congregation unto the priest, who shall
all
offer
right.
it
So it's
before
only a little
your
bit
house.
left. It's only about a little under 15 minutes.
And making the total.
All right. So let's stop it right here. I'm gonna get off. and head to sleep. The first time I felt sleepy.
She shall be cleansed from
Shit,
the issue
come
of
on. All right.
blood.
Shalom. Tomorrow. So tired.